When I first learned about hypnosis, I ain't learned it how everyone else learned it. Most people usually assume it's like magic, mind control voodoo, from like the cartoons and how it's portrayed in the media. But I learned it a different way since one of my parents used hypnosis medically. And I learned from that it has medical uses. And I would frequently look it up over the years and expand my knowledge by learning about it. I came to the conclusion pretty young that hypnosis was not magic or spooky, but had very practical medical uses, and since then I fully accepted it as a real thing that had practical applications. And as those years went on, I was mostly interested in trance states since that seemed to be the thing I gravitated towards. I liked the idea of like an altered state of mind, and that was mostly my interest. I also was very interested in psychology at a young age, so that led to a lot of interest I had in it. So I kind of spent times going back and forth trying to learn about it, but I never really was kind of super interested in it. The thing that really spurred my interest into psychology was getting medically diagnosed and seeing a doctor, which made me even more interested to learn about my medical condition and about how psychology affects someone, which was around the age of 14. So from there on out, I started getting more and more interested in learning about hypnosis. I would read a lot of case reports, a lot of written research about it. I would read medical documents, whatever I could get my hand on, and understand how it works. I would also, whenever I had the chance, if I was in school, find anything that was relevant to hypnosis, or at least trance states. A lot of my interests weren't very strong until maybe when I was much older, around 16 or 17 was when I super got into it. Mostly because I was creating a character that had hypnosis as a power. And since then I got a little bit more interested in it. The thing is I was never really purely wanting to be hypnotized because I assumed that it was very difficult to be hypnotized. You had to at least pay money for a doctor or something. And I never really thought it was possible to just meet a random hypnotist online, which was kind of stupid of me, because I did eventually meet a random hypnotist online, and they took advantage of me, and I learned from that experience to be sort of more afraid of recreational hypnosis. And on top of that, all the times people discuss recreational hypnosis, it always goes horribly. I mean, all the big, well-known and famous people in history have used hypnosis, from Hitler to the person who created Scientology. So the whole idea of recreational hypnosis, I guess, is horrifying to everyone due to all the bad faith actors that get into it. So me being taken advantage of, mixed with all this knowledge that recreational hypnosis is dangerous and scary and spooky, had made me pretty much think that hypnosis could only be used in a medical sense or in a stage hypnosis sense. So that was my first idea. I knew that it could be possible to do recreational hypnosis safely, but in my mind is that it was so infinitely impossible that it just could never happen. That it was so difficult to find someone who wouldn't take advantage of you. Well, I had the luck of finding someone. The person I work with now, the hypnotist that I always talk about, my close hypnosis friend. I started talking with him and working with him 2 years ago, and my thoughts have basically changed since then. Not only have I accepted that recreational hypnosis can be safe, it's just a matter of finding someone you can trust, and that you don't really need a medical training to be able to do hypnosis safely, as long as a person is someone you could trust and someone who knows what they're doing. I've also found that a lot of things I read in case files, in research and psychological reports didn't apply to me, and in some ways were actually false, like this whole false idea that you can't be hypnotized against your will, which is bogus, and I'm so glad that the recreational hypnosis community is at least hammering in that it's a load of bullshit and that you could definitely be taken advantage of in trance. I've also found that the effectiveness of hypnosis varies among individuals. I assume from reading all these case reports that hypnosis all had the same effect all at once, and that it would affect me the exact same way. But I found out that's not true. I found out that hypnosis is sort of unique to each individual. It's very much similar among people, but each person is affected differently and at different rates, and that anyone can be hypnotized. It's just that everyone's psychological profile is different. Everyone's personality is varied, and it really depends per person how everyone is affected. I've also learned that there's many different ways people experience trance. Some people are more aware of what's going on, some people aren't, and I found that pretty interesting. Many people would say that it's a sign that you're not a good subject, but I don't believe that's true. Just because you're aware of what's happening doesn't mean you're not hypnotized. So a lot of my views have really changed. I still believe that recreational hypnosis can be very dangerous. There's a lot of people who want to take advantage of people, and the whole wanting complete power and looking for someone who's naive and suggestible is one of the biggest issues in the hypnosis community not many people want to address. And it's very hard to do so because these people develop a sort of cult of personality. So it's very difficult to talk about it. And I'm pretty happy by how I think now. I'm happy I was able to find someone who cared about me and was a good hypnotist. And I learned that hypnosis is super different for everyone. That it won't always be the same, but you'll be able to get better with it with practice. And honestly, every single day my views have changed for hypnosis. It's changing right now. Every time I learn something new when going under trance or looking it up, makes me kind of happy to appreciate it. And that there's a whole infinite possibilities and things to learn about trance states. So yeah, I'm kind of happy for how far I got. Oh yeah, well, I guess that's it. See ya.